Hello and welcome to another useful video. Today's video is going to cover the car backup camera and monitor kit. I'm basically going to do an unboxing and installation and then a review of the product. So to begin, I can show you that this camera is brand new. I've never opened it. There you can see the actual sticker that's still on there. I'm going to go ahead and open this. I can get the sticker off. There we go. Alright, so we can see from opening this up that there's some instructions here. It'll show you what comes with the actual kit. So it shows that there's a sunshade, there's a magnify button, a menu, a swivel stand, screw holes, and some other things. Also down here it looks like there's an installation diagram and a general user's manual, and there's some specs there on the actual item. So flipping this around, it shows us how we have to wire this up, and I'll get to the wiring later, but this is a wired kit and I'm gonna try to install it with the wires and also with a wireless kit that I purchased, and I'm gonna see which one's gonna give me the more solid, just great video quality that I'm looking for. I have heard that the wireless ones can be a little bit finicky, so I'm gonna try them out and see what happens. And basically that's how they're saying to do it. I'm gonna install it on a 2002 Tacoma, so I don't have a trunk. But we'll see what we're gonna do. So it says that the contents of the package are the monitor, the cable, the power cable, and the rear view camera. Alright, so here we go. There's that. Just a little kit for saying thank you for buying this item. This seems to be the monitor here. So here's the monitor. It's seems to be a Gertong brand. However, I'm pretty sure that most of the Chinese monitors are probably built in the same factory and just have different names. But the reason I like this one is that it's not a suction cup one, and the reason I kind of shy away from the suction cup ones is that the plastics that they use melt in very warm weather. So if it's like the summertime and it's pretty hot and humid outside and your car's locked with the windows up, that plastic can actually melt and it causes a huge mess inside the car. So that's why I kind of like this setup better. I might even use some double-sided tape to stick it on, even though I know this one has it, but I don't want this much double-sided tape going onto my dash. But we'll see. We'll see what works. And it does swivel. It's got a swivel mount in the back, so that's really nice. And here are the buttons where you can change things, and we'll get into that later. Hopefully I can figure that out. I don't think it'll be that bad to figure it out. Quality impressions. Looks like the quality is pretty decent. It is fairly thin. I would say it's as, compared to this, and this is just a utility knife. Compared to this, it's a little bit thicker with the visor, but the actual thickness of the item isn't too bad and has a nice feel to it so far. There's a plastic covering here protecting the actual screen, and I'm assuming this visor is removable, yeah. So it just clips into these guys there. So you can see that clip right there. That'll just go into the side and hold it. For now, I'm gonna go with the visor. I think it'll be useful. I'm gonna try it out and see how it works and things like that, but overall impressions of the screen so far so good. I haven't checked out the video quality, so I can't really comment on that. However, I'm assuming it's not going to be the greatest. Again, this is just a really cheap backup camera system, and I got it more out of curiosity than anything else. If it ends up being great, then it'll be wonderful, and I'll enjoy using it. Alright. Kind of snap that back into place, but there we go, that's back into place. So that's the monitor. This is the backup camera. Let's check this guy out. So this is one of those backup cameras that you simply just bolt on to the license plate area. It's got these little two bolts, these holes where you can kind of adjust it and make sure that it's on there. And I kind of like the positioning of where the camera is when you install it that way. I might figure out a more creative way of getting it installed, but this way is just really easy and quick and simple. So I'm just gonna try this out and see what works. But yeah, it looks like an okay camera. I believe this is a little bit adjustable, the swivel here. It might be, it might not be. Yeah, it is. It's just hard to adjust it, which is nice. And it does have some 6 nighttime elements. I don't know if they're LEDs or if they light up or whatever, but we'll see how it works at night. It's supposed to be waterproof. I hope that's true. And here are the connections for it. This red is for the power, this is the video signal, and this being the camera, this signal is a video out. So this is going to actually take the image and send it out through this cable. So that's good enough for the camera there. This is the monitor again, and so let's go back here. This again is going to be the power for the monitor. This is going to be the input for the monitor. And then this is going to be, what is this white one? Let's see here. Just going to look at this. So the white is a AV2, which means it's going to be a different signal from a different camera. Interesting. I'm just going to stick to one camera and see what happens. This is going to be the video in for the monitor. So this is the video out from the camera. The cable is going to connect the video out to the video in. And then this is the complete wiring that they have here. Let's see how this looks like. So again, this is the power. So this is going to be like an adapter style power. So this is going to plug into here. And then it's going to just simply have a hot and ground connection right there. And that's going to be for the monitor, and then same thing for the camera. Again, it's going to have an adapter right here that you're going to plug into this like so, or sorry, that's the video. You're going to plug that into there like so, and then this again will go to a ground and a positive 12-volt connection. And then this is the wiring for the video camera. As you can see, it's got these connectors on here. And then for the monitor, this will go in here like so. And then for the camera, this will go in here like so. So if you look at this from a different point of view here, you'll notice that these two yellows are connected with that wire. So the yellow connection coming out of the camera goes into there, that cable, and then that cable goes into the monitor. So whenever this sends an image to the monitor, you'll know because the monitor will be on. And the monitor will get power from a 12 volt. Now this 12 volt you can connect almost anywhere, say like a stereo, your ignition. There's a lot of places where you can connect that. And you can also connect it so that it's always on, or you can connect it to your taillight or your taillight trigger wire so that it only comes on when you're in reverse. I'm actually probably gonna try to do it where it's on all the time. I just kind of like seeing what's behind me, and I don't think having a video camera would be a bad idea for that, especially since I have a topper on the truck and stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys understand the wiring. It's pretty simple. So this camera needs this connection, which is a 12 volt, a ground and a hot. And then that also needs the wiring connection for the camera, which is right here. This camera is going to need the video out connected to the video in of the monitor via this cable. And then this monitor is also going to need the 12 volt power supply. So basically, this is our setup. This is what we got in the kit. Looks to be a pretty complete kit. How big is the 4.3 inch monitor? I'm gonna say it's big enough. However, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get one that might be a little bit bigger. However, I still like the size of this, especially if you have a smaller truck, like a Tacoma is a smaller truck, especially a 2002. I think it's going to look pretty decent in there. And now that we've gone over the actual wired system here, I wanted to also show you the wireless video transmitter and receiver as well. This is going to be used to get everything wireless, and this just came in a Ziploc baggie, and again it has some generic instructions on what you're supposed to do. I've generally never really liked the instructions that comes with a lot of these Chinese products. I generally find that they're not well written and they don't translate well from Mandarin or any other language into English. So they do give you a rough idea of what you're supposed to do. However, I don't generally follow this. I just try to figure it out myself. I know that might be wrong, but that's just what I've always done. Now, here's the transmitter, and again, this is pretty simple stuff. Now, this is gonna transmit the signal, and this is gonna receive the signal, and vice versa. So basically what you need to do is you need to hook this up to power so that it has power for the actual transmitter to work. And then when you have this, instead of using, so let me actually go ahead and get these wires unplugged so I can show you. It's fairly easy. Don't think of it as being a complicated thing. Just something that sometimes helps to just think about when it's outside of the vehicle. So here we have all of the items again. Okay, so this is the video out, if you remember. The camera is the video out. So for the video out, once we have the power hooked up to it, we're going to connect it directly to the transmitter. And this video out signal is going to be used to connect the transmitters together. Now, another thing to note, that both of these will now require 12 volts. So this is the power for the camera. So we'll plug that into there. And then this will require 12 volts too. So what I would recommend doing is connecting the red wire from here to the red wire on there, and the black wire from here to the black wire on there. That'll make sure that your power is going to be solid and steady, because when the power is activated, this item has an LED light right there. That'll let you know that it's on and working. So that's that. Now for the monitor, it's again the same premise. We take this power, this transmitter rather, and we plug it into the video in. And again, it's going to require 12 volt hot and ground. So this is going to get plugged into here, because again, this is going to supply the power to the monitor, because this item itself has a ground and a hot. So because of that, that's all you're going to really need, is just to install it up like that. And so if you notice now, we've completely gotten rid of this. This no longer is useful to us, because theoretically this transmitter should send a signal to this transmitter. And if our signal is strong enough, hopefully we'll be able to get a picture inside the cab without having to route all of this wiring loom throughout the whole vehicle. So again, just a quick recap. This is a transmitter, it can receive or send. This is a transmitter, it can receive or send. This transmitter will get plugged into the video in of the monitor, and it'll also supply 12 volt hot and ground, because this has a 12 volt hot and ground. For the camera, it's the same same idea. The camera has a video out signal that'll get connected to the transmitter via there. The transmitter will need a hot and a ground, and so will the camera. But in this setup, you'll want to make sure that these two wires are connected together, the red and the red and the black on the black, and then you can connect them to one hot and one ground. therefore getting power to both the camera and the transmitter. And once you've done that, the actual monitor should start working for you and giving you a nice clear picture if the transmitters are close enough together. I don't know the exact range of these, but I don't think it's great. So unless we can get them close together, we might have to do just the solid wiring setup. But again, I'm gonna try both of these out and see which one works the best. If you guys have any questions on the wiring or how to set it up, don't be shy. Send me a message or go ahead and reply to this video and I'll try my best to help you out. But I just wanted to show you the two different ways that you could set this up. Just before you go ahead and install everything and wire all your wires and do everything, hook up the camera and the monitor directly to 12 volt to see what type of image you get and to make sure everything's working. Hopefully you can see this, but the image does show up on the monitor and I can see that it's working correctly and the camera's okay too. That's my hand in front of there, my hand out, my hand in front of there, my hand out, and you can see the camera does show a picture, and so it does work correctly. Okay guys, I used my trusty digital multimeter to see which wires from the reverse bulb are actually the positive and negative, and I hooked those up to the back of this wireless 2.4 gigahertz color video. There's one of them that says receiver and one of them that doesn't say anything. You want to use the one with the camera that doesn't have anything set on the back for the camera. And again, it's good to test everything out before you go ahead and do your final installation to make sure that it's going to work correctly for you and not give you any issues. So I tested that out and it's working greatly and correct. So because this is on, and I can tell it's on because the LED is on, I also put both of the positive leads and both of the negative leads together. And then this is the actual camera here. I'm gonna go ahead and mount that onto the license plate area. And then when I've done that, I'm gonna connect all of these wires and tuck them behind the taillight. Okay guys, so as you can see, this has a standard USA size mounting location here for the camera. I tucked the wires under this plastic piece. It's a little bit it's come up a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and tuck it back down once I get the wire into the correct place that I want it. But if you look at the bottom of the vehicle, it comes out through the bottom there, up there. I hope you can see that, but there's the black wire there. It's coming out right in the middle of the screen. Hopefully you can see that, but it comes down here, and then I have the connections here. So I reassembled the taillight, and now the wires are coming down through the back of the taillight here. Now I'll have to connect these wires to those wires there, and then I'm gonna have to do the front for the monitor. This is how the wiring is gonna look for this end of the wireless receiver. I've actually decided to go wireless on this because I've tested it from a somewhat of a distance, the engine bay to the rear of the vehicle by the license plate in the rear, and it's worked out fine. So I think I'm just going to try the wireless route since it should be easier of an install. But however, this needs to go to the monitor, and this one says receiver. The other one doesn't say receiver. So that's just one thing to make note of, is that this piece here has to go to the monitor to make sure that it works correctly. And then again, the video in for the monitor goes to the wireless receiver here. And then they're both going to need power at a 12-volt circuit, which is a hot and a ground. Now on this Toyota Tacoma, I'm actually going to be mounting the monitor right here, so the driver can see it, but it doesn't obstruct the view of the outlets for the 12-volt outlets, and you can still use the cup holders and everything, and it's not really in the way, and I can still access the ashtray as well. So this is where I've decided to mount it. I'm going to try to tilt it up as much as possible so that I get a nice view of it. So I have to remove this lower piece here, and it's held in with two of these plastic clips right there. One's right there, and the other side has one as well. So as you can see here, guys, I've removed this lower panel simply by popping out these plastic clips here. And I'm gonna use this power here for the ground and the hot. And then I'm gonna mount the unit right up here. So luckily on this car, it's pretty easy to do that. Your vehicle, you could use like tap the power from the radio, you could tap the power from the fuse box down there. In your car, you would just need to find a constant 12-volt connection. Okay, so I'm testing this out and you can see the unit is lit up with power there. That means we're good to go as far as that's concerned. All of the wires are going to be behind this console area, so it'll look nice and clean. And so that's in now. And again, what I'm probably going to do a little bit later, since I'm using that outlet for the wires, is I'm actually going to drill the back of the cover to just make these stick out just a little bit so that it looks more clean. I think I can test this out if I can plug these guys in here and then pop it into reverse. We should have an image. Let's see if this works. Okay, there's our screen. And what do you know? There's the image. Screen quality isn't the greatest, but there's a plastic cover. Once I finish the install here, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my review of how everything looks and how it's going. And now for the test to see how it works. So it should turn on when I pop it into reverse here. And yeah, there we go. As for the quality, it doesn't look too bad actually. What I'm actually gonna do is gonna go ahead and rip this off. And it does. It's not bad. As for the quality of the picture and stuff, it's good. I wouldn't say it's excellent. I wouldn't say it's a high definition screen. I would say it's acceptable. And yeah, you can see what's behind you. And the camera is mounted behind, right on the license plate there. So really easy location. But so far so good, and the wireless signal seems to be decent. The picture's pretty great. It's not flickering too much. There's a little bit of flicker, but I can live with that because I know I'm using a wireless transmitter. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the result. I think the screen looks acceptable in the vehicle here. And yeah, it gives an older vehicle a little bit of a nice update here. Pretty pleased overall. I'm gonna test it and give you my review a little bit later if you'd like on if it's still working or not, but I don't anticipate having any problems, to be honest with you. Alright, thank you so much for viewing this wireless backup camera installation. I thank you, I appreciate you. Please hit that like and subscribe button, it means a lot to me. I try really hard to make these videos great for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, just please let me know. And if you have any questions on how to install the unit, I can definitely help with that as well. And here's my review after using the unit for around a week. Let me show you what happens when I get in my car and I turn the key. Do you see that? It flickers like that. Sometimes it lasts 30 seconds, sometimes it lasts 30 minutes. And here's another thing that I've also noticed. Once I went ahead and buttoned everything up, I decided to go ahead and zip tie the unit to some of the framing or the actual frame of the vehicle underneath the vehicle. And when I did that, watch what happens now. Turns on, but do you see what happens? Yeah, you can barely see anything. I would say it's not even useful, and it turns on and off every so often as well. Therefore, I think the only way to do it and do it correctly is to hardwire it in. And that's what I'm going to do next. And then once I've hardwired it in, I'll give you an update on that as well. But so far, sometimes it works good, sometimes it doesn't. I would say I think it's the wireless issue. I was expecting better. I was hoping that it's going to give me a really nice signal and a really nice view. But as you can tell right now, it's not good at all. And sometimes when you bring your hand closer, like I'm doing now, it's good. Then when you move it away, it's bad. Then when you move it in, it's close. It might be because my hand's acting like a camera, or like an antenna or something. However, it's extremely annoying. I just feel like it should work, and it should work right. Therefore, I'm going to try to hardwire it in.